Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Richard, playing from the Puppet Geek and MMGN.com. How's it going, guys? Now, as you can see here, I'm rocking Final Cut Pro 10, or some may call it Final Cut Pro X. Now, as you can see here, I'm sort of editing a video for my YouTube channel and MMGN.com. Now, this is actually my first time using Final Cut Pro 10. Now, it isn't my first time actually using Final Cut. Now, I've used Final Cut for my course. I've used Final Cut for my work on an everyday basis. Not every day, every time I go into work, really. And the thing is, oh wow, sorry about that. So the thing is, when this is basically a first impressions video of Final Cut Pro 10, and comparing Final Cut Pro 7 and Final Cut Pro 10, they're not the same. They are definitely not the same. If you use Final Cut Pro 7, you can tell this is definitely not the same. Workflow wise, both are completely different. I do a lot of corporate events, at my job using Final Cut Pro 7, and I find Final Cut Pro 7 more easy to work with. But that's doing corporate events, So using this right now, I found it quite easy to sort of edit this video, use a green screen, do some audio work and everything. But that's for my personal videos. This is for my YouTube channel, and I find that also easier rather than using iMovie or ScreenFlow. Now, I do use iMovie and sometimes ScreenFlow to actually edit my whole videos just in ScreenFlow also, because if you have ScreenFlow, it does have a built-in editor also in there. And I found that does it for me. Basically, iMovie does everything you need it to do. Now, if you're looking at getting Final Cut Pro 10 and you just looking at making some home movies, just some YouTube videos, I recommend sticking with iMovie for a while. If you're just getting into this, especially iMovie, if you just bought a Mac and you're looking at getting you're more getting interested into video editing, stick with iMovie for a while. But if you're actually if you're studying to be a video editor, probably get Final Cut. But probably go and get Final Cut Pro 7 first. It's probably more expensive, but it's a better base to learn Final Cut with because it's more broader. There's a lot of tutorials out there already, and this is something new. Everyone's new to this. People are still finding all these new hidden features, what Final Cut Pro can do. Now, Apple has just released a frequently asked questions link. I'll post that down below. So if you have a lot of questions, go and check that out. And if not, I can help you answer them. So jumping into Final Cut, now I've sort of changed my menu, not too much, but I'm still mucking around with it. But one thing, when you first get it, it sort of looks like this. Let me just close everything. Well, obviously you don't have this because I have something open. Oops, sorry about that. Let me just lower my volume. Okay, yeah. So it's basically, this is not here. I don't think that's there. It probably is. Anyway, so it's pretty bare. And it tells you to import some videos. Whatever you import it, you get this up there. You click on the video, it comes up there. But you're sort of looking at audio and you're trying to monitor it. And as you can see there, it's right there. It's really hard to monitor. And the thing is, with Final Cut Pro 10, a lot of the menus or windows are actually closed or not open, really. So you got to sort of activate them. Whereas Final Cut Pro 7, it was sort of ready to go from the start, a Pro tool. So let me just go to Window. And this is sort of like a tutorial, first impressions type of thing, but I'm just going to show you. What you want to do is go to Show Audio Meters, and you get this, but you get this up here. Let me show you right there. As you can see, it's hitting all those levels really well. You can monitor it really well, and it works. So that's something really to recommend. And also in the inspector panel. Now you want to open that. You want to also keep that open most times. Now, if you really need the real estate, if you have a second monitor, really recommend a second monitor. You can probably dump this. This part over here on your second monitor, and it'll work really well. So inspector monitor over here, inspector window. As you can see, I'll click one of the files and you get all these stuff here. Now I'm doing a chroma key with the green screen. Now as you can see here, it shows you all its effects, some color. All you have to do is basically click it and it should activate it. I should deactivate. Does that look better or worse? I don't know. The blacks are better. But yeah, so I'm still sort of learning these new things. That seems more balanced. Anyways, doesn't matter. So basically, right now what I'm going to show is what iMovie doesn't have. Now, like I said, this is just a first impressions video. I'm still learning the ins and outs of Final Cut Pro 10. You know, trying to find where everything is really. But I found everything what I need to do. I'm just trying to find stuff what Final Cut Pro 7 had and what I'm used to. So obviously you got your music over here, which you can sort of drag, your photos. This is similar to iMovie. Your effects panel right here, so you can type in effects, blah blah. No, obviously nothing will come up if I type that. But one thing I like is the transitions. Heaps more transitions than iMovie. Me being a big iMovie fan, like I've started personally. The truth, I started on Windows Movie Maker. I was rocking it like on Windows 95 or something, or whenever Windows Movie Maker first came out, and I was editing small little clips on there, and that did it for me. That was the best thing ever. But it wasn't really the best thing. It really just compiled your clips. You couldn't really do much, then do a cross dissolve, and that's about it. But as you can see here, heaps more transitions. I'm just going to go into all. As you can see, there's all this black hole checker we've seen before, I believe. This curtain thing, I really love the curtain thing. Look at that. A lot of cool things. As you see, there's heaps. Now also, if you go into text, a lot more text also. Now you got your lower thirds, your credits, your bumper opener, your build-ins and stuff. Heaps. One thing I do like is this. I think, the ink. That's pretty cool. I have no clue what I'll use that for, but I just want to use it for some reason. Like, it just looks so cool. Instant replay, which you've seen in iMovie, which was introduced to iMovie, I believe, in one of the updates, or in the new iMovie 11. I don't know. I can't remember. This is cool. Very cool. So it's, as you can see here, the transitions, the text effects, they're all, it's sort of like a massive add-on to iMovie. Some are calling it iMovie Pro. Now, an article just came up, I think, a week or two ago, that iMovie was actually going to be called, like iMovie Pro or something along that basis, which is really funny. And this was, prior to Final Cut Pro actually coming out. So maybe iMovie was going down the line of Final Cut Pro. It just never got there. But now a lot of people in the industry, because Final Cut Pro 7 is the industry's editor. That's how I like to say it. A lot of people use it. A lot of companies use it. If you go study multimedia design or editing, you will use Final Cut Pro 7. Or the latest Final Cut at that time. That it's the industry's editor. Some may beg to differ. Some companies don't use it because it only runs on a Mac, and that's sort of the downside to it. And most people go with Adobe Premiere or whatever. But it is the industry's editor, and you'll get taught that. You get taught how to use it. But now a lot of people who are like basically brought up on Final Cut prior to 7 and 6 and so forth, jumping to Final Cut Pro 10, they are not liking it. It's completely different. It seems like it's been dubbed down, which is sort of a good thing and a bad thing. You really can't cater for both people. They're trying to, but you really can't. Now, a lot of people are just sticking with Final Cut Pro 7. It does the job. Now, I think Apple should update Final Cut Pro 7 with some minor updates and just continue making Final Cut Pro 10 better in a way for the average consumer. Because it's affordable, it's easy to use, which a lot of people like. And I personally like it too, so I'm not complaining about it. But for work-wise, I'll probably stick with Final Cut Pro 7 just for workflow. It's just easier. For some reason, I don't know why, don't ask me. But for me, personally, just comparing the both, I just find it easier. Other than that, as you can see here, I'm just showing you, the overview, the broad overview of Final Cut Pro 10. There's a lot of things you can do. One thing I do like, which they introduced to Final Cut, I'm not too sure Final Cut Pro 7 had it, or if they updated it, is the share tool, which you can update straight to YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, whatever. And that's something which I was sort of hesitant about, because using Final Cut 7, That's the only reason why I didn't edit my stuff in Final Cut Pro 7, like, at home, was because I couldn't upload straight to YouTube. I had to export it first, and then after exporting, I have to upload it. Whereas if I hit YouTube, put all my credentials, and it'll export it, and then import it for me all in one go, which I'm really happy with. So I think Apple has done a good job in introducing a more advanced editor to the consumer, which, I'm impressed with, I'm happy with. No complaints from me, but, workflow wise, business wise, Final Cut Pro 7, way to go. It's up to you really, or up to the company, how they want to go with. Anyways, this is Richie Plunkett speaking from my home. I don't know why I just said that. But I'll try to write up a small little article on this also, if you do. Take a read, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.